As noble citizens, we must bypass a life of dormancy and vice to pursue the generative endeavor of a hard day's work. The benefits of these pursuits are not secured by chance or charity, but through the merit of your character and the firmness of your convictions. It is you who are planting the seeds of trees whose shade you know you shall never see.
Okay.
Nice. This is the Broken Wind podcast. This is the time of the year where flowers are blooming, bees are buzzing, and we want to thank you for listening, as always. And I have with me my two wonderful hosts, the crocus with the mostest. Say hello.
Hi.
And the super producer himself, Mr. Vane, the main Vane.
What's up?
The one and only. And we're here to podcast. Let's f***ing do it. It is a...
We're in. We're officially a live show.
We're officially a live show, yep. We officially have posts. We're officially posting, as they say. And yeah, I mean, I wanted to just have a little news roundup today, because there's so much specific things we want to get into, but there's also been some this is what it feels like, one of those weeks where decades happen sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I just thought it would be a good time to sort of check in on the news. But that said, as a result of current events and my occupation in, let's say, doing capitalism, participating in it, I am totally drained of all my orgone and have been unable to prepare really anything for this episode, other than I have one note here, which is, it just says Asmongold bad at gaming. So not even sure what that means.
Shot fired from the bow.
Don't know when I wrote that down. Yeah, we're saying. Well, I think I remember where that was coming from. And,
coming after you, Asmon.
That'll circle back around. But I mean, where do you? I think the biggest things, going sequentially, we should probably talk about Signalgate first. Which I hate even calling such an annoying fucking
another gate. Gate.
Another gate. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one we really need is gate. But
I think the bigger scandal is that they were doing an illegal bombing of a country that they had no right to bomb.
Yeah, illegal bombing gate.
Yeah.
Illegal bombing gate is what it should be, right? Yeah. I think that's the most important,
and you never heard that in mainstream media. Yeah, that should have been the takeaway. I mean, the awful mishandling of the data, and the horrible botched response to all of it is one thing, but the actual event behind the text was also horrific, and that didn't get brought up.
Right. Yeah. I think all of us remember a time where that, the idea that this country could just unilaterally, go, that's literally what the whole, weird, horrible part of, one of the many weird, horrible parts of the post 9/11 war on terror is that people were just the president can't just do that. They can't just go to war, that
Are you guys having a lot of flashbacks to post 9/11 lately? Because I am.
Yeah.
It
all
does
this,
feel that way.
Terrorism talk and
Yep. And the Democrats completely folding to the argument once again. Having absolutely
There's a lot of
no
consent
moral
manufacturing.
spine.
I mean, there always is that, but it's just they're trying to ramp it right back up to that level, which was a terrifying time to live through. Really, especially to be half conscious. We all were.
That was when we were all coming into consciousness. I'll admit I wasn't fully that's when my first memories really start forming, is during the W. Bush administration. And some of my very first memories were thinking about going to war with Iraq and Afghanistan.
Threat levels. I remember thinking a lot about the color of the threat level, which doesn't really come up anymore.
Yeah, we just all dropped that. That's just
don't worry, it'll be back.
Handy indicator. How am I supposed to know what threat level we're at any given day without a color encoded system to make me? What am I supposed to? You give me a number and that's enough? No, I need something.
How am I supposed to know how afraid I need to be going about my daily tasks?
Anyone know where the doomsday clock's at nowadays? Let's find that out.
I mean, if the color could also be paired with an adequate level of siren, that will help really stimulate the cortisol in my brain to help me know exactly how like level orange is like it's sort of like a foghorn.
Yeah,
and then,
I bet Facebook has some research on
level
this.
Red is like
if you wanted to know what
siren.
the doomsday clock says right now, we're 89 seconds to midnight.
Okay,
Sounds like a song.
Oh, that seems a little premature. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about, what you just said, Crocus, really thought. It reminded me of cultural memory. It's because it's something I've been thinking a lot about lately in regards to Americans and just the concept of whiteness and how it has this way of sandblasting all the features out of, people talk about this, like people who move to the U.S. from other countries, how within a generation or two, they're part of the U.S. And that's cool. That's one of the best parts of it. But I think part of that process is a removal from cultural memory.
Yeah,
and what that leaves you with as the American populace being devoid of cultural memory are people who have just the most completely ass backwards, completely live in a fantasy world kind of reality where it's people are just obsessed with this idea that if they think it can happen. And it gets into some very foundational philosophical stuff that I'm sure Vane may have, just on the tension between idealism and materialism. And
right.
there are people really going around who think that we can just will our way to a reindustrialized America.
Yeah.
And one of them is the president.
And that, as a desire, really speaks to a complete lack of cultural memory of what industrialization is like.
Yeah.
Because, to tie it back to the conditions of the English working class, that is a book that is documenting the lived experience of people going through industrialization. There's no way around it. It sucks. I'm not saying that that global free trade has been good. I'm not saying there shouldn't be more domestic manufacturing in America. I think there's something to be said, sector to sector. But the idea that we want to bring all manufacturing back to the U.S. is wasteful beyond all reason.
Yeah.
And also the violence it will unleash in pure just pollution and immiseration in people's working lives and lived experiences is going to be breathtaking, and it'll take time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it will even happen, but it's that's what they want. And the only reason everyone will be even remotely on board on that is if they just don't even, like I said, they have no conception. Same with feudalism too. It's the same with feudalism being said that there's this weird neo-feudalist tech oligarchy burgeoning now. And again, it's something like that can only take root in a country full of people who have been completely rinsed of any cultural memory of feudalism.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Right.
It's people who have any fucking experience of that don't want that.
Yeah, it's what happens to people who are bred to just live with contradiction constantly and to not question that contradiction. And when that happens, what you do is live with basically prescriptive idealist thinking, like you said, even though you can't square that with the reality. So a perfect example of that is having the gold bug orthodox economic view that gold is money in a reality where Congress spends unlimited money. And that is an unquestionable fact. There is absolutely no denying it. And if you're starting from the basis of describing the actual reality, it's absolutely unquestionable that it starts with the votes in Congress and the money is created, and that there does not need to be an actual finite object behind the money. If you have a prescriptive worldview, you are willing to live with the contradiction of living in a reality where that does not make any sense and does not square in any way with the actual practical reality. And you just have to live with that contradiction. It's the same as saying, I think that all music that is good is derived from the logic of 17th century European classical music.
Right.
Like just saying
They're not even
that
playing
no matter
instruments.
what, you have to follow the rules of 17th century counterpoint, or you're not making beautiful music. And no other music is beautiful unless it relates to these beautiful natural laws that all make sense to me in my own understanding of how music ought to be. And to me, I believe that music ought to be this fully self-contained system that can be entirely explained by notes on a page and by the language of harmony. And no other part of music needs to be explained, in my opinion, because 16th century counterpoint explains all of it to me, including rap music. And that's why I know rap music is bad, because it's not following 16th century counterpoint, and European classical music is. And when you continuously work backwards from this and don't allow yourself to have a working understanding of how music evolves and how to break down new songs and understand the evolving syntax of those songs, you're just completely stuck in this prescriptive worldview without any way of actually engaging with the materials that are actually there.
That's so crazy, because you also kind of just described like the tradwife worldview, for example. Like there's this like obsession with, not about music specifically, but like this unwillingness to like look at and experience and accept the evolutionary.
Yeah, that some women aren't happy from that.
Yeah.
Right? Or like that an economy can work with parts coming in and out of it, and it doesn't necessarily have to have this perfect equilibrium between the things moving in and out. Actually, it seems, if you look at reality, the growing debt constantly, that doesn't square with the reality, that there can be this in equilibrium state, and the economy still does function and we still live with it, even if it doesn't square with some people's prescriptive worldview of how it ought to work.
What were you saying about tradwives, though? Well, I'm trying to follow that.
Yeah. Like so basically, if your life, right, doesn't look like sort of a whatever their traditional ideal like Western view is, then obviously you are like, you're doing it wrong, you're miserable, like you're not going to succeed. Anything bad that's going on in your life is because of that. It's not ideal, even if you're perfectly happy with it, even if it's your favorite type of life to like not be a tradwife, then you actually are just misguided, because it's not right. But there's never any willingness to like engage with the fact that other people have different journeys and different life experiences that take them different places. Like if it's not Christian, like the ideal Christian in their view thing, then it's not right. And it all originates. I mean, I think a lot of it is like based in white supremacy, essentially. But the other thing I wanted to say is I have thought a ton about the sort of the experience of whiteness being one that like gives you like cultural amnesia, kind of. Like I've thought about it my whole life, because I feel like our family is very much that way, and not like because we're white people. Like we have a lot of traditions that are like completely like they are a generation or two old. There's nothing that comes from a home country about them. Like they're just like unique to our family or like our region or whatever. And like that's all we have. And so I would make friends with people who had parents who were from like, you know, Mexico or whatever, and I would be like, man, my family doesn't have anything like these like recipes that have been passed down throughout your like and I had always thought of it as like, oh man, I envy that, but I had never thought of it as something that was actively dangerous before, which was really interesting to think about. Losing that cultural memory, making people vulnerable to these like sort of empty prescriptive ideas that like make you easier to control, kind of. And then also it kind of helps me make a little bit of sense of how angry conservatives get about immigrants who don't sort of work towards whiteness by, I can't think of the word, assimilating more.
Assimilation, right. Right. Well, reject tradwife, embrace gremlin wife. That's something I wanted to make sure to put on the record. I wrote that down here because I thought that was so... Embrace gremlin wife.
You're gonna have to explain gremlin wife to me.
It's something I just made up. It's it's like, to me, I was just thinking, what's the opposite of a tradwife? It's a wife who's kind of like a gremlin. Like, you know, she's stinky, she's farting, she's, you know, she's maybe under a bridge. You know, she's certainly not churning fucking butter or something like that. You know. Maybe she's eating butter that's been out too long. I don't know. I'm just the gremlin wife. It's up to the imagination. It's just like all women. It's special. So I think we're already kind of. It's funny. We're literally already like talking around the tariffs.
Yeah. We
so
didn't. I guess
I was gonna bring
we didn't
it up.
really say.
Is there anything? It's so boring. Like, is there anything y'all wanted to really say about
Signalgate?
Like,
I know.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
said it earlier.
important. Like it is important that this was a dumb up, and it seems like it broke through, which seems good, I guess. But like, I don't know. What do you think?
Here's a perfect example, actually, of where we can apply this prescriptive versus descriptive right there to the Signalgate thing. So when you compare the way that the Republican is able to live with the constant contradiction of how data is supposed to be handled, because maybe you'll remember the last 8 years or so, but there was kind of this thing about mishandling of data when Democrats do.
Yeah.
Turns out it's just kind of a difficult thing, but this is certainly very much stupider than not that we're like a very big Hillary Clinton show, but like this is so much dumber. I think it's just funny to observe how much dumber. They're very
so
stupid
much
folks.
dumber.
Yeah.
They're very stupid. It's
And all
the
of this is
stupidest
dumber.
show I've ever seen.
And it's like that thing that Obama recently came out and said, could you imagine if I had done any of this stuff?
Yeah.
And it's kind of true. It's one of the only things as of late that I will give credit to Obama for saying. That's absolutely correct. Like, imagine if after the tan suit controversy, if he had gone after Fox News's credentials, imagine the kinds of things that Republicans would have been saying. But again, they're totally fine with living in this prescriptive worldview of how things ought to be for their side, but not for the other. And that's why also... You are allowed to, if you have Daddy Trump in office, it turns out you are allowed to issue tariffs, even though if you're a Democrat, that's the stupidest fucking thing you could ever imagine.
What I was going to say about like...
If you wanted to raise tariffs to raise prices on oil so that maybe we could save this planet, you are such a fucking moron. But if you want to levy taxes on broadly every single country all at once, you're a genius.
Yeah. You're brilliant. It's right. Well, the prescriptive worldview thing is, I really see what you're saying. It's such an idealistic thing, and it's such a thing that's like very intellectually lazy. And it's even like the small details of something like, oh, maybe I should make sure the name of this person isn't just who I assume them to be.
So
it's like
right, because I saw their initials
with so many assumptions. You're so comfortable with assumptions.
Oh, but it got sucked in. I don't know if you heard that.
It got sucked in.
Right.
The phone number got sucked in. It's a very relatable experience. Happens to all of us when phone numbers are sucked in.
Who amongst us hasn't started a group chat and just been sucked into the group chat? It happens.
I think I saw an anime like that.
We get sucked into a group chat?
Yeah. And again, like if you're a Republican, it's a perfectly understandable mistake that sometimes your text gets sucked in. If you're Hillary Clinton and your emails get sucked in, oh my God, that is going to be newsworthy for at least 8 years.
Imagine if Hillary Clinton said her emails got sucked in. That was what happened.
They just got sucked into the server,
So funny. Hillary just with her hands. They got sucked in.
She should have just shrugged and said they got sucked in.
So much.
It's important that we learn from these tactics for the future.
That's exactly. We gotta learn from these things. Never forget it got sucked in gate is what it should be called.
That's what we should call it.
It got sucked in.
I also have a proposal about Doge while we're talking about changing terminology on things. I'm hoping that it won't be around for that much longer, but maybe that's just Musk and maybe I don't know. But we also should talk about that election.
He might be out. The election,
Oh, yeah.
But I think we should start calling it Doge or Doggy, something that's not Doge, because that's what he wants.
They're doing Doggy. They're doing Doggy on Tronon. Yeah. They've been going with Doggy. Honestly, I love Doge. I think that's really funny.
Yeah. It was Ryan Grimm who I heard saying it. Do you know Ryan Grimm?
He said Ryan Grimm wrote Doge.
Yeah, he was being totally serious. I think he like started a TikTok right before the van that was supposed to happen in January, and so he thought he was just going to get on and like post one TikTok and get off, and then obviously the ban was like 24 hours, and he's been kind of posting every once in a while with news on TikTok now, but he's like quite a boomer technologically speaking, so he was calling it Doge for a really long time when he first joined the platform, and I thought it was so funny.
Nice.
Gotta love Ryan Grimm. That's some good work.
He's pretty cool. Yeah, respect on Doge.
That's why I followed him. That's the only reason I know.
I like that it sounds kind of French, and I think they won't like that, But I guess before we get too into tariffs, that does sort of create a good segue, because does anyone, like I said, I'm way out of step. I don't have notes for anything. Is Elon actually out officially?
No.
What's going on?
I've only heard the whispers so far.
It seemed like there were like a flurry of whispers, and everyone got all f***ing excited, and he did come out and say he wanted like a free trade zone between Europe and America, which was an interesting break from the administration.
I didn't even hear that.
But, his motives for that are obvious.
It is because he lost that election. And yet again, to go back to that prescriptive, descriptive thing, another great example is when you compare Elon Musk's meddling with the election and George Soros or some other stand-in.
Which Musk brings
and I don't know if you saw
all the time.
Yeah, the recent town hall where Musk, when he was getting heckled, just kept saying, "Oh, say hi to George for me. Say hi to George," and things like that. And it's like, bro, you're so literally an oligarch.
So cool.
There's no question that you are one of the oligarchs.
How closely did you guys follow that Wisconsin election? Because I can fill you in if you need it, Butler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Please, yes.
Okay, so the election was for Supreme Court in Wisconsin. There were two candidates. I can't remember either of their names, but there was like a liberal judge who would maintain the current balance of power on the court, which is in favor of liberals. That's how they describe them, because they're not technically Democrats or Republicans. And then there was a conservative judge, and Musk really wanted to tip the court, because there are a lot of cases coming up in the Wisconsin Supreme Court that are relevant to the Republicans' interests. Like there's a abortion case, I believe, that is going to potentially like overturn the overturning of a ban on or something. Like it's like an abortion rights case. There's a voting rights case, I think, and something else. So there's all this stuff upcoming.
There's some that Musk has personal business involvement in too, I believe, right?
So Musk like poured tons of money into like $20-something million, like more money than has ever been spent on this type of campaign. And I will say, in response to seeing that happen, the liberal candidate also got like a huge ton of donations. So they both got more money to spend than they normally would. But Musk like definitely was the one that poured the most money in. And along with pouring money in, I don't know if you guys remember I think he did something similar during the presidential election. But
I know what you're going to talk about.
He offered people like prize money to sign like a petition about something having to do with the election, right?
Yeah, which is okay as long as you're not George Soros.
Right. Of course. There were questions of whether it was legal.
Please,
they had to
please sign up for the Patreon, George Soros.
Yeah, definitely not illegal.
They had to like edit a video because it said this girl was like, "I did everything Elon Musk told me to do. I signed a petition. I told my family. I voted, and now I have $1 million." And they had to edit it to take out the voting part, because telling someone to vote or how to vote and paying them for it is illegal. But this is not going to be something he's going to get into legal trouble for, of course.
Yeah.
But the thing that he may get in trouble for is the fact that despite all of this money and all this effort, they lost really badly by like 10 points in the end.
Cool.
And
yeah.
It's not just so it's like kind of like, first of all, Elon, like, he did rallies there. Like, it definitely, like, made it about him. And obviously that backfired really badly.
Yeah.
But it also is embarrassing for Trump. That's one thing, because they had his face all over all of the campaign. Like, they were also like, if you like Trump, vote for this guy. And then he lost really badly.
Right.
So that's probably because of Elon more than Trump, but it is embarrassing. But then also, like, one of the big reasons that people in Congress have been afraid to go against anything that Trump says, Republicans specifically, is because Elon has been threatening to fund primary challengers for them if they do.
Yeah,
and now it's
X.
kind of thrown into question whether or not he's an effective attack dog in that way.
Yeah.
Because his money may be kind of like poison to any future campaigns.
It's not a guarantee that they're going to lose if he attacks them, clearly.
Yeah.
And if he throws everything he has at them, it's not a guarantee that they'll still lose. So
yeah,
I think that really takes away a lot of the threat, even though people were worried about his power of social media, as many people were. It kind of goes to show that maybe he doesn't have pure absolute power over the Congress to say, I'm going to primary you and you will lose no matter what.
Yeah.
There's a chance, at least we've seen now, a realistic possibility that doesn't win. And also, I think a major thing to highlight, in my opinion, is people are comparing the second regime to like the oligarchs taking over during the collapse of the Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. And I think that is truly a landmark. The fact that we have an oligarch like coming out right before the election and saying, hey, I'll pay anyone basically unlimited money to vote however I feel. And that in the subsequent administration, he receives no punishment. I think that's a good landmark of where we're at now as a society. That going right into this, we had the president announcing a scam coin right on his inauguration day, and we had a room full of oligarchs standing behind him. We had one of those oligarchs do a couple Nazi salutes, and in addition to that, we had one oligarch who was offering people $1 million at a time to go and vote, even though that's blatantly illegal, and we'll see absolutely no consequences for it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I've been thinking a lot about that, actually, because it's a frequent theme on this show that, like, the parallels between now and the fall of the Soviet Union. But I've been thinking about, like, the parallels between Putin's style of governance and Trump. And it's like, it's a bit of a trite point, but I think I've been wanting to come up with a term for what exactly this system is that Putin sort of originated and Trump seems to be trying to kind of adopt. And I think a good term for it is mafia neoliberalism, because it is just neoliberalism at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing that's so annoying, is like Trump is not trying to do any, like, the tariffs are a neoliberal way of trying to reindustrialize, because it's believing that, like, this can only be done through economic policy. There can be no direct investment by the state. So it's like, even if it's a very stupid, it's like, it's neoliberal plus incredibly stupid, but like
stupid.
But that's just neoliberalism in its end stages that everybody could have predicted.
Yeah. And it's going to be different, too, because, like, Putin there was a lot more meat on that bone for Putin when he went in there to start carving things up. Like, where mafia neoliberalism being instituted after decades of neoliberalism is, like, you know, one thing I know we've seen they're going after is the state parks parks in, like, federally controlled lands to build the, like, you know, freedom cities, and that's where reinstituting feudalism, sort of the techno-feudalism, as we've you know, sort of teased
that
and
sounds
talked about a little bit.
a hell of a lot like a 15-minute city to me, honestly.
Right, which is woke, which is bad. Oh, all right, well, you folks have a good one, and to the listener, thank you for listening. Please sign up for the Patreon. If you're George Soros, definitely sign up for the Patreon. We hate Elon Musk, so we're gonna definitely be a good investment on that end.
Yeah, we're ready to AstroTurf so hard.
We'll be paid protesters.
I'll go to any protest you want me to, yeah.
I hate my job, yeah. Let's do it. Please. If I'm showing up to be annoying to Elon Musk, I'll
give
take
you
a
a discount
low bid on that.
I would do that for free.
I'm pretty expensive otherwise, but that, you know, we'll see. So, okay. All right. Well, love you both. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you both again soon. You have a good one.
Okay.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. The episode you just listened to is significantly shortened in order to fit our monthly time allotment. To listen to the full episode, subscribe to either one of our Patreon tiers. The $5 monthly tier will give you access to all of our content, including the news updates and the forbidden courses, and the $3 tier will unlock access to all of our news updates as soon as they are available. We hope you enjoyed this content, and we really hope that you don't get sucked in